After each court hearing in the YSL RICO case, things look worse and worse for Young Thug. If found guilty, Young Thug is allegedly looking at 100 years inside of prison for charges of team involvement, narcotic charges, possession of firearm charges, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony charge, possession of a fully auto firearm, 3 separate charges of unlawful for person employed by or associated with criminal street team activity. Then to end it off, Young Thug is also being charged with the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, otherwise known as the RICO charge, which in the United States ranks with one of the most dangerous charges there is. Now, as it was announced, Young Thug and his YSL associates are responsible for over 50 passings of rival street members, with active instances of firearm use in the public. The Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis spoke with the local Atlanta News, adding the indictment reportedly includes allegations of 3 passings and dozens more. One passing has been identified as Donovan Thomas, as Young Thug is being accused in court of renting the 2014 Infiniti Q50 sedan that was used in the Thomas passing. As they added in court, Thomas's passing is extremely significant, Willis said. It occurred back in 2015. What myself and any law enforcement member can tell you is, as a result of the back and forth firearm use, many passings have occurred. There has probably been about 50 since 2015. This is from the back and forth between YSL versus other street teams. On September 29th, Young Thug's updated charges were highlighted by the prosecutors after it was announced of new court documents that rapper Gunna has been dropped from any street-related acts in the original indictment, as he has been named by 0 witnesses. Gunna's been locked up for a little over 140 days and has a 3rd attempt at bond within the next week, as online lawyers have already claimed that Gunna has a 98% chance at receiving bond. Meanwhile, Young Thug is trying to get any help that he can, as during that same court hearing, a new concerning piece of evidence was found inside of the YSL mansion, which will add on to the 100 years inside of prison that he is already looking at. As the evident report states, in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia, do charge and accuse Duke, Yak Gotti, and Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, with the offense of possession of a firearm for the said accused in the state of Georgia in the county of Fulton on the 9th day of May 2022 did unlawfully possess a firearm with a converter switch and extended mag. Now, what is known as a switch in many rappers' lyrics nowadays is a mod that you can attach to a single fire firearm, in the end making it fully auto, which in the United States is highly illegal, as these items have been getting used a lot by members that are in street teams and are used often. Inside of the YSL mansion owned by Young Thug was these exact items, as these items were found at the Young Thug mansion raid, where police officers went up and down the YSL mansion, examining the entire place, finding many illegal items. However, here's where it gets even more concerning for Young Thug. As it was announced, Gunna's charges are being dropped and has a very high chance at receiving bond. Young Thug's lawyer then tried to argue he should receive the same treatment, as the evidence against Young Thug is allegedly not as good as prosecutors claim, and that Young Thug should be released on bond to continue working, look after his family, and things in that nature. Well, prosecutors were ready for this, as prosecutors then ruined all chances of Young Thug ever being released on bond in this case, as the prosecutors now mentioned a new argument in the courtroom. This results around Young Thug's Twitter account. Ever since Young Thug was arrested, he has not stopped using his social medias, as on his daily call with his music manager, he has him tweet out things for Young Thug. As Young Thug had his manager tweet, "I'm talking with my roommate, and we're wondering if you could swim 100 miles from the middle of the ocean back to shore, at Michael Phelps." Now, what seems like a very innocent tweet sent out by his manager turned ugly, as Young Thug's lawyer had to defend him in the courtroom about this matter, and his lawyer couldn't even believe it.
Williams is in a jail outside of Fulton County. There are 0 cell phones in that jail.
That last tweet that was sent out to Michael Phelps is recorded. It's been investigated by the sheriff of that county, and it was a conversation that's recorded between Mr. Williams and a member of his close friendships, that he asked the other person who has control of his Twitter account. That is not a reason to...
Well, this is part of the conversation, Mr. Steele, and you and others are going to need to have with your clients, because this is part of the state's concern. I mean...
That was an innocent... That's nothing bad. Asking somebody to tweet to Michael Phelps, can you swim 100 miles in the ocean? That has nothing to do with intimidation. So I'd ask you, Rico.
Well, if I can communicate through a family member or somebody else, then I can communicate something else.
Everything okay over there?
Sorry.
Yep. Okay, your family was concerned that something was going on. You're fine, right?
Yes, I'm great.
Okay, cool.
Now, sources claim that a major reason Gunna beat his charges is from the YSL snitches. Meanwhile, Young Thug is not beating any charge anytime soon. This is due to him being named by these YSL snitches. Now, as the members that are snitching in YSL basically mentioned Young Thug's name in every statement. Meanwhile, they never mentioned Gunna's name once, as this was said during an earlier court hearing in the case.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's King Slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime, because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
As one of the statements were released by one of these YSL snitches on what he said. The snitches said, and I quote, "Young Thug is a very dangerous man. If you cross him, he will get you and your family." As paperwork was released stating, and I quote, "The Fulton County District Attorney says YSL team members are going after the life of a witness and their family in the criminal case against rapper Young Thug and the 27 other alleged team members." As it goes on saying, Willis's office has discovered a document and part of a cooperating witness's statement that was posted on social media. The life of that witness, a cooperating YSL associate, otherwise known as a snitch, and that witness's family are in jeopardy as a result. Willis says authorities are still investigating on who leaked the discovery material. A new indictment last week added new charges against Williams and a handful of other defendants in the case. Prosecutors believe, as mentioned earlier, with Young Thug still having a social media presence, they believe this is what led to the snitches being leaked online, and this is what then led to the snitches being targeted by YSL team members, making Young Thug too dangerous and reckless to be released on bond ever in this court case. As it was leaked that the man snitching is known as Lil Woody, as Lil Woody is allegedly the man that demanded safety for his family after he started snitching on Young Thug. Now, Lil Woody didn't only snitch on Young Thug. Allegedly, Lil Woody also snitched on Lil Baby as well as other members of YSL. As DJ Academics reported that Lil Baby, as well as members of 4PF, are now next up on the Atlanta DA's RICO list, as new paperwork was leaked in the Atlanta DA's office revealing very concerning information on 4PF and Lil Baby. Now, very similar to how YSL and Young Thug were raided and arrested for RICO, Lil Baby is now next up on the list.
An in-depth investigation. Recent months, you've had 2 high-profile racketeering cases. There are going to be more.
Over the next 60 days, you'll see 2 more.
Now, after this was broadcasted on the news, evidence was even released of more rappers being brought into the YSL RICO case. as a tweet was released stating, "The team called Home is connected to Playboi Carti and Future, a big name. They've had an ongoing rivalry with another team that is two sets of the same team going at one another. There's a trail of past and jailed rappers all throughout this beat," followed by, "The Atlanta DA's office confirmed to me on Friday that Home is one of several street teams on a road to a racketeering charge. I'll be writing about that soon, but the state of the jail is at least as important." Now, what we are truly witnessing right now is a complete takeover of the rap industry, especially rappers based in Atlanta. Now, almost at every early stage of a rapper's career, if they're not making money from music and a huge signing bonus, they're usually doing something street related to cover the studio time and looking to a part of all of the rappers. To live a rapping lifestyle is not cheap, as a day in the studio just recording maybe one song that might go on an album could cost hundreds if not thousands of dollars. So a lot of Atlanta-based rappers resort to doing things on the streets that end up ruining their career down the line. If you want to stay up to date with the case, leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe.